Hi everyone, welcome to Module 3. Remember that you have your first paper due by the end of this 2-week period. During Module 3, we'll discuss the people involved in helping, that's the clients and the helpers. During our readings and activities, we'll pay special attention to the objectives listed here. To develop a basic understanding of and appreciation for human needs and problems, to learn about the clients that seek out human service professionals, to identify the attitudes and personal characteristics of the effective human service professional, to understand the various roles and functions of human service professionals, and to review and analyze legal and ethical issues pertaining to the client-helper relationship. We will begin by discussing the clients that seek out human service professionals. Woodside and McClam begin this discussion by reminding us that individuals are complex, and in order for us to provide effective help, we need to view the person from multiple perspectives. In order to provide the most effective services, it's important for us to consider our client's big picture. We are all complex creatures, and human service professionals ought to work to understand how the different facets of a person's life are impacted by the problem, and vice versa. Problems in one area of life, such as social support, could influence problems in other areas of a client's life. Woodside and McClam stated on page 131 that problems for clients are rarely single issues, and the human service professional should approach each client with the expectation of more than one problem. Imagine for a moment that you have a problem that is beyond your own capacity for problem solving. Maybe you don't have a supportive network around you that could help you work through your problem. Maybe you don't have the financial resources you need to solve your problem. Or maybe you have difficulty finding reliable transportation to address your problem. When I think about this for myself, I can see just how easily a problem in one area might impact how I function in a different area. If I don't have money or transportation to get to work, then I'm going to have additional problems such as job security that will influence my overall health and well-being. When we are working with our clients, if we can put ourselves in their shoes and remember that problems are just a normal part of life, then we can work with our clients to define the problem as it exists. Woodside and McClam stated that each problem has two components, a description of the problem and a possible course of action leading to the resolution. In my example above, my problem isn't that I don't have money to get to work. Or my problem is that I don't have money to get to work, A possible course of action would be to explore cheaper transportation alternatives or to look for a job that is closer to home so that I don't have to be so dependent on transportation. On page 134 in your text, Woodside and McClam summarized how they think about client problems. Notice their last point. There's no guarantee that an individual who has a problem will seek out our help. In my experience, what I know is that people work hard to survive and do things for themselves, as this is a strong cultural message that we receive in the United States. We are to strive for independence. I believe that people latch on to this ideal of independence, and then whenever things change that are beyond their control, like the recent economic recession, they find themselves stuck, not wanting to lose face by asking for help. A downward spiral can begin here, as the reluctance to ask for help might compound their problem so that it begins to impact multiple areas of the client's life. In order to understand the nature of client problems, Woodside and McClam offered a few different perspectives through which we might view our clients. The first is a developmental perspective. I really appreciate this particular perspective as it is in keeping with my own philosophy of helping. Developmental psychologists have been studying and describing human nature for a number of years. Probably one of the most well-known and widely used models of human development is Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory of development. Erikson believed that we move through a series of developmental crises as we grow, and that successful resolution of the crisis will be impacted by social influences. His first stage, trust versus mistrust, is typical of infants during the first year of life. During this time, the infant has a need for continuous care, attention, and protection. The infant-caregiver relationship ideally provides the child with its fundamental view of the dependability of the world. If, however, the infant's needs are not consistently met, then the infant may not develop a secure attachment to the caregiver, and trust might be an issue throughout later developmental periods. Erikson went on to describe crises of different developmental periods, which are briefly outlined in your text. Thinking about clients through a theoretical framework, such as Erikson's, is one way the human service professionals can begin to offer new perspective to their clients and begin to understand their clients in a different way. Sometimes client problems arise from a specific situation. Many of these are just bad luck or unfortunate timing. Natural disasters such as floods or hurricanes can cause many problems for people, and these problems can be both short and long term. Even situations such as unemployment, a car accident, a job change, or marital difficulty can be viewed as situational problems. Problems can also be viewed as existing on a hierarchy. Maslow's hierarchy of needs has long been a way that helping professionals will utilize to understand client problems and situations. As you can see here, the most basic needs exist at the bottom of the hierarchy, and the idea is that those needs must be satisfied before the person can begin to work on any of the higher level needs. Think about school-aged children for a minute. We know from scientific study that children need nutrition for healthy brain development and brain function. Imagine that a child is from a low-income home and there's no food in the house. The child goes to school hungry and as such has difficulty concentrating on task. Before we know it, that child's grades could reflect the lack of adequate nutrition and lead to further problems with academic success. Clients may experience problems as a result of rapid societal change, a breakdown of traditional forms of society, or even a conflict between old value systems and new value systems. When societal change impacts clients, they may find themselves in unfamiliar environments, feeling alienated and even isolated. The homeless population is one example of a group of individuals who have been impacted by rapid societal change. People may become homeless as the workplace changes and their previously valued skill sets are no longer relevant. People might also become homeless as a result of gentrification. In many communities, economic investment serves to attract new businesses and spur economic development. While these are positive, as new businesses are developed, property values increase, rent goes up, and those who can't afford the new cost of living are marginalized and displaced by wealthier tenants. Additionally, many individuals are homeless as a result of some inherent vulnerability. A number of populations of people are classified as vulnerable, including people with mental illness. A large percentage of homeless individuals have a serious mental illness. This particular issue is one that I work to address through my research and volunteer work. I've included a short video on this slide that I really like. Take a look at it here, and then we'll revisit this particular video later in the quarter. In addition to societal influences such as rapid social change, client problems may be situated in a family system, in a group that the client is a part of, or in an activity that the client engages in. Again, think about the environment as one layer in which client problems can exist and impact other areas of a client's life. Woodside and McClem also explored the importance of identifying and defining client strengths. In my own work, I have found that focusing on past successes with other problems can often spur creativity in addressing current problems. Helping clients to see what they can do to help themselves is a motivating experience. Most of the time when we think about clients, we think about individuals. While much of the work you do in this field will likely be working with one-on-one clients, many times groups of people, such as couples or families, can be the identified client, and sometimes even larger groups of people who have a similar issue might be identified as a client group. The most common point of entry for individuals who are seeking help is through referral. Sometimes this referral may come from a professional, sometimes individuals might self-refer. Individuals who voluntarily bring themselves into services, either through a self-referral or a professional referral, are often motivated to begin working on the problem or issue that is causing difficulty. Sometimes, however, you will find yourself working with clients who are involuntary. Maybe a young adolescent female gets in trouble for shoplifting, and as a part of her probation, she's required to attend counseling. This particular client might feel as if her autonomy and freedom have been compromised, and she may be resistant to engaging in the treatment process. Involuntary clients can be difficult to serve, and it usually takes a good bit of relationship building on the front end of the relationship to help these clients find internal motivation to change. Sometimes a client may inadvertently be connected to different human service agencies. One example of this could be after a natural disaster. Oftentimes, the American Red Cross or other disaster relief agencies will target individuals in a community that have been affected by the disaster, even though those individuals do not actively seek out services. There are a number of barriers to seeking help for clients. As you can see here, these barriers may be internal thoughts of the clients, lack of resources, the psychological costs of asking for help, cultural factors, and even client resistance. When thinking about ways that clients get help, it's important to pay attention to what clients might expect from the helping relationship. In fact, I encourage my master's students to have a very concrete and clear conversation with their clients about their clients' expectations for counseling. What we find is that many times a client will come in for services under false assumptions of what they will receive. While my students have these conversations, I encourage them to ask specific questions about what the client hopes to gain from the process and what the client expects from the helper. Additionally, many professionals are legally required to provide a disclosure statement to their clients. A disclosure statement is intended to give the client answers to some of these questions and to provide the client with an understanding of the process of helping. Talking about the disclosure statement is part of a larger process called informed consent, which we will discuss further during Module 5. Many times, clients' expectations going into a helping relationship are quite different than their view of services after the process. Clients may be asked to provide feedback to both agencies and service providers. This feedback can then be used to improve program offerings. In our current social and political climate, clients are much more sophisticated in their thinking about client satisfaction, and clients are more vocal about their expectations. In the next chapter, we're going to take a look at the human service professional. As we move into our discussion of helping, keep this chapter in mind. Remember that your self-reflection is due at the end of Module 3. Your due dates are located in your Blackboard shell. Thanks.